All right, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another Real Talk video. I pray everybody's having a wonderful, blessed day as we give the Most High all the honor, the glory, and all the praise and worship. My title now says, Being Married Spiritually versus Legally Being Married. And I want to give a shout out to Renee Blanca. I hope I'm saying your screen name right. A shout out to you and your boyfriend. Great question. You asked a question about being married spiritually, and which is a great question. You said we want to know how we can get married spiritually because we don't believe in getting married through paper and pretty much the world's way of, getting married, the paperwork, the ceremonies. You say it's better to just go pretty much spiritually. And you believe that it's way deeper than the paperwork. And what I want to do in this video is bring out a few points to make you, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but what I want you to do is I kind of want to just open your eyes to seeing this in another kind of way, rightly dividing this, because there are a lot of people that's being put together, but they're not being put together by the Most High. You got a lot of people committing to each other, and the Most High has nothing to do with it. You got people that's being put together by Satan. You got people that's marrying demons, okay? And it's serious out here. And you got people now crying for the Most High to bail them out of something that the Most High never put them in. So as a teacher, as the Most High have, really touched me on this, doing this video. That's why it took me a while to get back with you, as he gave me some words to speak to you and your boyfriend, your husband, your boyfriend and girlfriend, excuse me. You got to look at this for a moment. So many people are shacking up, Now, oftentimes I hear people say, man, I feel like we've been married. We've been together so long, man. We've been living together 10, 15 years. Forget about, the legally way of being married. We married, or we common law married, this and that. And the thing is, what is the Most High's view on this? Most people I know just shacking up, or that's just my baby mama, that's just my baby daddy. So once again, this is a great question, because when you go back to Adam and Eve, when you go back to the beginning, you don't see all this paperwork, and having to have a ring and this and that. It was like the Most High told Adam, this is it, But we know that times have changed now. Now, most people that I know put more on their wedding than they do the covenant, because they want to be seen. They like all the attention. It's like my wedding cost this much money, and 7, 8 months later down the road, they divorce. I know people that's been together longer that didn't even have a big wedding and all the fancy stuff. They stand together longer than the ones that, you know what I'm talking about, done been there, that's spending all the money. So when you look at what does the Most High say on this? Now, you hear me oftentimes say in my videos that it's only the Most High that can take two imperfect people, put them together, and keep them together. Because as you stated, the ring is not what's keeping people together. It's not the paperwork that's keeping you together. When you are joined together by the Most High, that is the Most High keeping you together. Now, what I want to get to now on your own time, I want you to go to Romans chapter 13, because I have to make this point in this video. Romans chapter 13, and look at verses 1 through 7. Because when you look at Romans 13, verses 1 through 7, my brother and sister, it's going to teach you to obey the laws of the land. But wait a minute, there's something to that. We obey the laws of the land until the government started going against what the Most High forbids. So far as the way they doing marriage, now we know you got this same-sex marriage and mess that you don't play a part of. But obeying the law toward the way they doing marriage, is nothing wrong with that, because there's benefits in that. So when the Most High, when the Bible teaches you to obey those laws of the land, and there's nothing wrong with it until, you see what I'm saying, it goes against the Most High's will, then you obey those laws. Why? Because there's going to come a time as you get older, I hate to say it like this, but one person going to die before the other. You see what I'm saying? And you have to have, that is another way for you to take care of your helpmeet. Well, whichever helpmeet pass first. I'm not trying to wish death on nobody, but let's just be real. One of you going to die later on. All of us are going to die one day. And a lot of people are dying and being stuck with a whole lot of headaches with stuff because they're not doing it the right way. So when you look at Romans, once again, chapter 13, verses 1 through 7, teaching you to go, to obey the laws of the land, especially when it comes to marriage, then you obey it. I mean, it's just like you want to drive, right? So you need a driver's license. Now, you can continue to ride around and run stop signs and red lights without a license, but look at what's going to happen to you in the long run. Look at the consequences. So you obey the traffic signals. See, I'm just making a point. You do what it tells you to do until it go against the Most High's will. But it's your choice. So what you're looking at here is a legal marriage versus a spiritual marriage, we could say. Now, I know you said that, I want y'all to think about this as a couple, because I know you said it's past this paperwork and all this stuff, but I want you to really want you to feel me on this, because having your marriage recognized by the state is very important in so many ways. Like I was just saying a minute ago, because when you get in the marriage, when you get that license, that gives you kind of like power. Just say, like I was saying, one of you die. Then with that license, it give your spouse death benefits. It give you access to the retirement funds. You can say health insurance benefits, etc., etc. It just goes on down the line. As a legal spouse, you are allowed to make so many decisions versus you not being married legally. Just say somebody get hurt, you get injured, you get real sick. Now I'm just throwing it out there because you might not have thought about that all the way. And that's why being married with that paperwork, that legal part, when that comes in, that takes care of all of that. Unless you just gonna really say, I'm just gonna take a chance and go without all of that. And we so quick to say that God gonna take care of me. I know God got my back. We understand all of that, but at the same time, if the Most High said there is nothing wrong with this, that you obey the laws of the land on this part, there's nothing wrong with it, why not accept it? Because the reason why I'm saying this, you never know what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, or when it's gonna happen. So protect yourself at all costs. You see what I'm saying? I hope I'm kind of answering your questions, because I know you say once again you don't care about that, going that route, the legal way, and all of that kind of stuff. But you have to ask a question: what constitutes a marriage according to the Bible? I know y'all talk about this all the time, So once again, if the Bible says obey the laws of the land until it go against the Most High's will, then on this part, we're talking about marriage, there's nothing wrong with it. I have to say that again for some reason, I don't know why. Nothing wrong with it. Some countries, they don't care about it. They do things different. They don't even use a marriage license. But like I say, it's just different. It's different. Look like everywhere now. Some people think just because they having sex, that gives them a marriage. But the problem with that is the act of sex does not equal marriage. Sex does not mean you got a covenant with the Most High. I tell a lot of ladies this all the time. I know he done told you this and whispered this in your ear and said this and that. You laying together, sleeping together, shacking up. You got 2 or 3 kids together. But that does not equal a covenant. You just getting together and popping off and having babies. You have to have the Most High involved. You know what I'm saying? You have to. It's the Most High's will for us to be married. You see what I'm saying? So we have to use spiritual discernment. We in this world, but we not of this world. That's why there is no being married to your husband or wife in heaven. Only one we're gonna be married to, in which we already are, is the Most High. We will be in this flesh will be gone. We're gonna be in a glorified body that's just like Yahshua was in, perfect. There is no need for having a wife in heaven. Scripture teaches you that. I taught on this a while back. And when you start looking at these commitments, marriage is way more than just a commitment, because it involves a covenant. Now, once again, if you done committed to each other, but you haven't, the Most High haven't brought you together, and the Most High is not involved in it, then you have no covenant. You have no covenant. And when you don't have no covenant, what do you have your marriage based on? See, what I love about a covenant is you can't break it. The Most High never broke his covenant. We break promises all day long, left and right, but a covenant is never broken. The Most High, and this is what you got to look at with these covenants, because when the Most High made covenants, it was always some type of sign, or we could say a symbol. And they had plenty of ceremonies in the Bible. We know that. But even when you look at Mary and Joseph, look at Mary and Joseph. Psalms say you could Mary and Joseph was legally, spiritually, and emotionally committed to each other. But Joseph could have had Mary put away. But the Holy Spirit showed him something different. And divorce should never have been. That's why Yahshua quoted that. You know how it was from the beginning. It should never have been that. But we also know there's forgiveness. But nowadays, more people are getting more divorced now because the Most High never put them together. Never put them together. So when you look at marriage, I want to say this, Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. It teaches you, let marriage be held in what? Honor among all. And let the marriage bed be undefiled. For the Most High will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. When you look at that alone, you're talking about being held in honor. Who designed marriage? The Most High. So my point is, once again, if he designed marriage, he's the author of love. And he said you obey the laws of the land. If these laws of the land between husband and wife is not going against the Most High's will, then there is nothing wrong with doing it legally. You see what I'm saying? Now, some people may disagree with me and say, I got a problem with doing it legally. Hey, it's each to their own. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just bringing out facts and truth. You're going to do what you want to do anyway. You know, that's why I talk about this covenant, because of commitment. Folks break commitments every day. See, you can break a commitment, but you can't break a covenant once again. The Most High never breaks a covenant. In the New Testament, Yahshua shows that marriage is to be witnessed. In Matthew 18 and 16, Yahshua is pretty much quoting back to Leviticus, because he say, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every fact may be confirmed. So when you go back like to my parents in them day, they didn't care nothing for these fancy rings, these big time weddings. My mom and dad have been married almost 47, 48 years, something like that. My mama been with my daddy since she was 14 years old. And they still together. They truly love each other. So you got people now who just tolerating each other. They can't stand each other. And they still stand together because they benefiting off each other in so many ways. So we have to really look at, you know, what the Most High shows us to do. You know, what's the right way? What's the wrong way? Most people I know who are married, or should I say was married, and once again had all these big time ceremonies, spent all their money, they separated now. Or divorced. They gave up quick. They got married for all the wrong reasons. And it seemed like the ones, once again, who went to the courthouse and got married, just spent a little money on the marriage license, they the ones staying together longer than any of them put together. But it's not, once again, it's not about the ring. It's not about the paperwork. The worldly status is I mean, you see how some people just love to show out. They had the most high-priced wedding you could think of, and that ain't even together no more. Some people don't have a covenant. They just got a contract. And they tolerating each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, so many people, I'm going to try to wrap this video up, but you know, it's so many people I talked to that told me they never even loved each other. They had no love. They were just, like I say, tolerating each other. And it's something my big brother P.P. Drawing said on her in one of my old videos that I'll never forget. He said that you can tolerate somebody without loving them at all. But you can't love somebody without tolerating them at all. That don't make sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me. Some of us will catch that later, and some of us done caught that. You can tolerate somebody without loving them at all. But you can't love somebody without tolerating them at all. That's why when you are in love, you do some crazy stuff. But I'll give you this the thing about it as I wrap this video up, because hopefully I've answered your questions about this being just doing it spiritually versus, you know, legally. I'm reminded of this couple. It was all over YouTube, the internet a while back. A couple named Bob. They married, Bob and Norma Clark. They got married on August 26th back in 1964. And they had a beautiful little wedding at a small church. But their marriage, it never got recorded with the county clerk in California. And they didn't find this out, my brother and sister, until about 40 years later. So the question is, was they married or not? Well, what is your take on marriage once again? How do you view marriage? Because everybody that I know in so many ways view marriage a little different. Well, we already married. They never got married. But they didn't find this out to 40 years later. Now, legally, in the eyes of the courts, the state of California, we could say the U.S. government, they was not married. And you know how they found this out? Because they went to go work on their will, their legal arrangements for when they die. And they requested their marriage certificate and found out it never was one. Wasn't one. And without that certificate, as I was stating earlier, there is no receiving one another's Social Security benefits. In the event one of you loved ones die before the other, without that, ain't no receiving those benefits. So they didn't have no record of their marriage on file. And it didn't matter to the states and the courts and the government that they was married 40 years. They was not entitled to any of the rights and benefits that married couples enjoy under the law. So apparently, whoever the pastor was who married them, I guess he didn't return the license back to the county record office, because that's where they make the marriage certificate. It turns into the certificate, and somebody dropped the ball on that, you know. So I guess he never done that. And you'll be shocked how many people are going through this. I have a close friend of mine right around the corner, been married over 30-some years, and they just found out their certificate, it wasn't even signed. So I'm just making this point. Do you care about really doing it the legal way? In the event something happened, or can you go on and be able to go on without having to need that help? If that makes sense. That's what you have to ask yourself. Can you go on without the legal part when something happens? And once again, keep this in mind. This is what I got to keep making as the point. The Most High shows you there's nothing wrong with it. Long as it's obeying and it's not going against what he forbids, then there's benefits for you. I mean, it's just like on your job. Are you going to turn down a raise and say, well, I'm saved, you know, God taking care of me. I don't want that raise. That raise is going to help you out. That promotion is going to help you out. So we have to use, once again, our spiritual discernment on everything we do in this life. Now, somebody might say, well, JT, that couple you talking about, man, did that mean that man and that husband and wife just wasted their time? No. They still had a beautiful marriage. They still kept the Most High in it. They raised their children. They did everything that they supposed to have did, except it just wasn't legally at the time. They had to go back in there and straighten it out. So the Most High was still on their marriage. They still was married. They just wasn't married according to the states, the courts, the U.S. government. But I'd rather be married according to the Most High than some paperwork. Right now, I'm not married. So, but if I did get married, that wouldn't stop me from going in and taking care of my business just in case something happened to me or my wife. I would have all of that covered. So, some people care about that. Some people don't. It's each to their own. That's my time. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day.